So I'm sure you've heard people talk before about video scopes, anything from vector scopes to waveforms and things like that. They may initially sound super technical, but they really are pretty easy to understand. So today we're going to quickly go through these and talk about how to use each of them. Let's do it. Welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to talk about how to use scopes for video editing. Scopes are super important tools for editing, and they help you to analyze and adjust the colors and exposure of your footage. In this video, we're going to cover 3 types of scopes commonly used in editing: waveforms, histogram, and vector scope. The waveform scope is used to analyze the luminance or brightness levels of your video. The horizontal axis of the scope represents the width of the image, while the vertical axis represents the brightness level. The bottom of the scope represents black and the top represents white. Using the waveform scope, you can adjust the brightness and contrast of your footage to ensure that it looks balanced and well exposed. If the waveform is too high or too low, it means the image is over or underexposed respectively. The histogram scope is used to analyze the color levels in your video. The horizontal axis represents the range of colors in the image, while the vertical axis represents the number of pixels that have that color value. Using the histogram, you can adjust the color balance of your footage to ensure that it looks natural and well balanced. If there are spikes in the histogram at either end of the horizontal axis, it means the image is either too bright or too dark. The vector scope is used to analyze the color saturation and hue in your video. The scope is made up of 2 concentric circles, with the inner circle representing the color saturation and the outer circle representing the hue. Using the vector scope, you can adjust the color saturation and hue of your footage to ensure that it looks natural and well balanced. If the colors on the scope are too far outside of the circles, it means that the colors are oversaturated or have a hue that's too extreme. You can adjust the levels using the color correction controls in your software. There's also a skin tone line in the vector scope, which is probably the most common use for this scope. You can isolate your skin tone so that's all you're seeing by using a mask in your software. Once you have a part of the skin masked out, then you can use the hue and saturation adjustments to control your skin tone to make sure you're right on that line where it needs to be. And believe it or not, most skin tones, no matter how light or how dark, are gonna fall on this line. So those are the 3 most common types of scopes used in editing. Using these, you can analyze and adjust the colors and exposure to make sure your footage always looks its best. Remember, always use your scopes as a guide and not as the only way to adjust your footage. Use your creativity and your judgment to make your video look the way you want it to. We'd love it if you would like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions or comments, and we'll see you in the next one.